I went to the Vineyard School, which is in Richmond, which is located behind the Mick Jagger house, 5 minutes apart. And when I was really young, so 4 or 5, I remember being taken to this house, me and 2 school friends, and it felt like they were kind of preparing us for something. Like it felt like they had this kind of intention of what kind of role they wanted for us, which was this idea of being a model.
When you say they, who do you mean?
On this first occasion, I'm not sure who actually took me there, but in subsequent occasions, so when I was 16 to 18, it was my father who took me there, and I remember that he drugged me at night time, put me in a car and took me to the house. It was like a kind of like strange party. I just remember it was like a really elaborate house and there were lots of drinks everywhere, so I just started drinking to try and escape the situation because it was so overwhelming, and it kind of felt like a normal party in a way, and then something very painful happened to me. But I mean, this was all connected to modelling as well somehow. It was like, well, that's what they were saying anyway. It's like preparation for that. But I remember that these other 2 friends of mine who were at my primary school, they were also there. Now they're like a lot older, same age as me. And yeah, it's quite difficult to talk about because it feels like it was all manipulated. They basically forced us to perform sexual acts, and they filmed everything, and then they actually and then they also found my other friend, and then she was also made to participate in it.
Do you recall seeing anyone you recognised at the party?
People in the industry, like photographers and people like that.
And so you've talked in the past about your father drugging you before abusing you. Was your father, did he stay at the party? Do you remember? Or?
No, I don't think he did actually. I think he just dropped me off there and then picked me up at the end. And I think for him it was just pure monetary. I think he profited financially from it, so that was his motivation.
Why do you think they were filming you?
They were filming it because they thought they could just make pornography, I guess, sell it for money, financial gain.
Were you aware of others at the party being subjected to the same abuses? Did you witness that, or did you have a sense that was happening? I
never witnessed it, but I remember there were other people who are now models who in the fashion industry who were also there. That was my feeling, that this actually happened to quite a few young models.
People that you saw at the party are currently known within the fashion industry as models.
Yeah.
So at the party you were given alcohol and drugs. Could you say more about specifically what you were given, the way in which it was given? It
was ambiguous what was happening. Like it felt like a party, so there was just loads of drinks everywhere, so it was just felt like you went into some kind of very dissociative behavior. The automatic reaction is just to start drinking or just start doing lines of cocaine to like just overcome the fear of what that situation actually was. Yeah,
cocaine was on offer at the party as well. And in which way was it offered? How was it offered?
People just seemed to have on them, so if you went to the bathroom you would just take cocaine.
The age range of people at the party, do you feel it was I mean, because I'm getting the picture from the way you describe it that it was a space in which they invited younger people in order to sexually exploit them. That's the impression I'm getting. But I wondered, in terms of the people at the party, I mean, is that the vibe you got? Was it predominantly young models? Was it a mix? Was it very old men and young models? Who was at this party in terms of like the demographic?
Sure, a split 50-50 mix of young models and people from the industry, so like photographers, young, cool looking kind of people, that sort of thing. And people were mainly, I guess, definitely less than 50.
Why do you feel Mick Jagger wasn't present?
I'm not sure. I mean, again, this part I'm not too sure about, because I remember seeing like his wife there, or like at other occasions I remember seeing her because she was also a model and she was kind of part of this whole training young models thing.
Are you aware that this guy Jeffrey Epstein, who was a paedophile, notorious paedophile, who posed as various things, including a scientist and an investor, businessman, whilst he was actually trafficking children? He had a plane which he flew out to an island on which children were raped and tortured. and various people flew on this plane, most notably people like Bill Clinton 26 times, numerous other high-profile figures. And one of the items of evidence that they collected on Jeffrey Epstein was what they call his black book, which was a collection of phone numbers of people who he was connected to. One of the phone numbers and the names in this book was Mick Jagger's name. So it's interesting that you say that you experienced the exploitation of young people within Mick Jagger's house.
Yeah.
And that your abuse there was filmed.
Yeah.
What was the youngest age you were there?
Really, really young, like 4 or 5.